Hi, and welcome to Let's Chat. I'm Nikki Luciano, and tonight I've got Mason and Ryan. How you guys doing?
Good. Good.
What's up?
Not much. How about you?
um, I don't know. Ryan actually came up with a really good topic for tonight, so that's why I'm doing a pop-up live. And I know it's not my normal night to do this, but um, when is my normal night? Because every time I go to have a podcast, Mother Nature says, think again. That's why I want to get it so that they could be at their apartment, Missy could be at her house, and I can be here, and we can still do a live. Um, so the topic that Ryan came up with was what? How would you describe it?
I don't know how to describe it. It only just formed because of been watching a lot of documentaries and just so you kind of see the old, not not beauty standards, but like standards society puts on women for being like the perfect woman.
Yep.
And just kind of like in our experience, obviously we're not women, but
But it's good to have the male
but
perspective.
seeing like anything from like I was just saying like people who are grocery shopping and stuff and just kind of like outfits they wear that even like for me I'd be like I don't know if if I had a daughter would I put her in that, probably not. And just how crazy we've gone from being such like a species of very covered up modest clothing to now you can there's really nothing left for the imagination on some people. Yeah, there's no limits.
Um, well, let's go with what was her name? That Sweeney chick from Sydney Sweeney from American Eagle. I mean, with makeup, she's a very beautiful, beautiful girl. Without makeup, she's very average. Um, that's the same with all of us, I think. Um, makeup is an enhancement, and there's a lot of people up in arms, I guess you would say, about her posing for the picture, the billboard or whatever it was. If it was a magazine, I don't even know.
It was a commercial.
It was a commercial. I mean, what standards are they holding her to? Is it because she's blonde haired, blue eyed that they're all saying that,
Well, they said she's being racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, somebody famous actually said she was like representing Nazis because she's blue-eyed and blonde-haired, which I think is utterly ridiculous. That's just what a certain group of people like to throw out there whenever they refer to somebody who voted Republican. I'm not going to get into all that, but anyway,
it's just more of the idea, and it just popped in my head that her jean commercial, I saw it.
Were you offended in any way, shape, or
I
form
didn't
when you
think.
saw
I
it?
just thought it was a great commercial, and I was like, "Wow, she looks beautiful. Great person to have advertised jeans." And then I was thinking, just popped into my head all those like the Bad Bunny for Calvin Klein.
Yeah,
when he did his, but he received zero backlash, and he was practically wearing nothing.
People are putting him on flags and posters and stuff like that.
So
who is this?
Bad Bunny.
He's artist.
He's an artist. But he did a Calvin Klein commercial. And whenever a guy does a Calvin Klein commercial, they're plastered over every billboard and everybody's drooling over them.
Well, look at what's his name? What is that guy's name that played the pirate? Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
For his cologne that he pushes. I mean, yeah, he looked absolutely gorgeous,
But they don't get racist backlash.
Yeah,
they don't get called Nazis.
They don't get the backlash that it seems that women who are doing the same thing get. Even like
women are catty bitches.
Even like just
that's why I really don't have many female friends. I have acquaintances, but nobody that I'd ever trust to hang out with and know my secrets.
Yeah, and it's just more of like the Sydney Sweeney commercial. I mean, she was wearing jeans and a like a jean jacket.
Yeah.
I mean, she was covered up, and I just kind of thought about the fact of why is she getting torn apart for that.
When she's
When-
covered up.
When Bad Bunny was on a Calvin Klein just wearing very tight underwear, and everyone's like, well, that's fine. But she's fully clothed and just advertising jeans, and everyone's like, oh, that's a problem.
Well, somebody had to do a lot of digging to find dirt, the dirt that they were looking for. And I think the key factor was that she had voted Republican.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that was one of the big backlashes, was that, and that she isn't representing. It was, yes, the fact that she is apparently a registered Republican. And then it was also the fact that she isn't representing, I guess, not the average woman, but like all
The everyday woman.
everyday, all forms of women. If that is, hair color, race,
She's
eye
a
color.
skinny, big boob.
Yeah,
blonde.
because it was just everyone was talking about how
Yeah.
she's.
Well, did you see that heffalump that was giving her the finger, that really extra large woman, and she's flipping her off, but she's wearing spandex that you can see what she ate for breakfast.
Mhm.
If you're that unhappy with yourself, and that's all you're reflecting out to America, is that you're so miserable and so unhappy with what a fat slob you are, then do something about it.
And I know
Mhm.
like ads used to be like, they were talking about a couple years ago, American Eagle had another jean commercial, and it was a bigger African American woman that was on it, and she didn't, everyone thought that was great for body positivity, but it also, I guess where it comes up is that I don't see it as, because people were saying that one's more representative of women than the new one, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, both, it doesn't matter who's wearing the jeans, who's wearing the pants.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be, you can't have somebody on a commercial who's going to represent all women, because all women are different. Everything is from hair color, eye, skin, it doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
both of them are not singling out or leaving out on purpose certain groups of women. But
Well, where did the wordplay come in from jeans, like denim jeans, JEANS, to GENES? Because now everybody and their grandma is on there changing the wording.
Well, it's because that was the commercial. Where she said, like, how did she say it? Something about like everybody has different genes, and that's why I have blonde hair, blue eyes.
Oh, Lord.
But she's literally just saying that
everyone's different.
everybody is different, and
See, I don't like
Her-
picking people apart unless provoked. Okay, you come at me and I'll make you cry. But like, let's take Lizzo for example. Lizzo is a very, very large, girthy woman. Okay, but I don't see that. You know what I see? I see that she has a really pretty face. She has an incredible voice and a lot of talent.
I think that's also where I stand, is that I don't like, I guess Lizzo's a good one. There's man or female, there's multiple, but I guess when I'm like, see a commercial, see someone in public, I'm not like, oh, why are they, I don't know, built that way or something. It's usually like, oh, their hair looks great. Maybe they just got done, or
Yeah.
don't really go off of, the stuff that they say that is being excluded from those kinds of commercials and magazine covers and stuff like that.
so what she said in the commercial was, genes are passed down from parent to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Yeah.
What's Nazi about that? Because she has blue eyes?
No, it's because she voted Republican.
Yeah.
That's all. Like I said, somebody was like, oh, I can't find anything on her. I'm going to dig until I do. Oh, who'd she vote for? Was their last resort,
Yeah, and it's just more of the how from a society standpoint do we go from, I saw the commercial, I really could have given two craps what she voted for, don't really care.
I don't care who anybody votes
I thought she
for.
looked great. I was like, oh, it was a great commercial. Thought she looked great in it. And then how do we go from being like, oh, building everyone up. She did such a great job. It was a great commercial. It was done great too. Let's nitpick every single detail of her life until we find a problem, and then go after that problem.
It says that they call it the left wing response, was because they think that the commercial was aiming to suggest improving the human race through selective breeding.
But you're reaching.
How?
You're
It's-
grasping
it's
at
a-
straws.
It's a gene commercial, guys.
Yeah.
We are selling genes.
I'm
That's all they
afraid to
care
watch
about.
a tampon commercial,
Yeah.
It literally, American Eagle is only trying to sell jeans.
I
We're not.
genetically have black hair. Am I going to be canceled for that one too?
I don't know. It feels like it's very much like we will go into the depths of the field to find some little tidbit to drag out and then make that the whole
It's because people
reason.
are bored.
People are judgmental.
Well,
And they make shit up in their head as they go along. Look at that one cop when Jimmy was a young teenager, and my son looks very Italian. And somebody reported snowballs being thrown at cars, and they were looking for 2 Hispanic males. And I said, well, you got the wrong number because my son's not Hispanic. Not that there's anything against Hispanics,
Yeah,
but
just
we're
actually.
yeah. I mean, a Hispanic would be insulted if you said he was Italian,
Yeah.
But I don't know. People, they're too quick to judge. They're too quick to label.
They're also just, first of all, most of them don't have 9-to-5 jobs, so they have nothing else to do. But they just always want to find something wrong, where they want to switch any situation or scenario where they can be the victim.
I'm going to take a second because we've got a couple of people in. Missy said hi. Hi. Desi waved. And Missy also said, Lizzo has amazing skin. Yes, she does. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your weight is. I judge people. Yeah, I look at you and I go, damn, she's pretty,
Mhm.
or damn, he's good looking. But it's personality.
Yeah.
How somebody treats me. If I'm treated with respect, I'm old school. You respect me, you're going to get respect in return.
Mhm.
You shit on my name and, well, you're an instant memory. That was my air freshener going off. It's sounding kind of weak.
I mean, I personally don't like Lizzo, but
I don't like what she's portraying herself as,
well,
but you got to remember when you're a bigger woman, people treat you a certain way. And she's the type of person, she'll make fun of herself before you get the chance to.
well, like she did that whole show,
Oh, I know.
that dance
was
show, where everybody threw her under the train because they said that she was promoting obesity.
Yeah.
And then
I don't think
Then
she
she
was
had-
promoting it. She's saying, be
even-
comfortable in your skin.
yeah. But then she had that whole controversy where she ended up firing her background dancers because she told them that they were too fat.
Oh,
Yeah. that was
Whatever.
fun.
But then she was doing all this stuff about body positivity and she's a big girl, own it, blah, blah, blah. But then she went on Ozempic and now she's a twig.
is she really?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
she's
would
still
love to see her
she's
that
still
way.
kind of a bigger
But-
girl, but
Okay, not to go throwing people under the bus. Let's look at Mariah Carey. Okay, I know Mariah Carey from way back in the Wayback Machine.
Mhm.
I don't know her personally, but I'm saying
Mhm.
I know I've seen her and I've seen how she's changed. When she first started out, she was like, Jennifer Lopez claims to be Jenny from the Block.
Mhm.
That's how Mariah Carey was. And she was young, she was pretty, she was natural. And now the diva,
Mhm.
and it's just sickening watching people change. I don't know if money did it, fame did it, all of the above, but I mean, remember your roots, people.
Mhm.
I mean, I remember mine, I could never let my head get that inflated.
No.
I couldn't.
Yeah, they let the money get to their brain.
Let's get into changing, like cosmetic surgeries and everything. Let's
Mhm.
get into it. Let's just delve deep into this bucket of shit. What do you think about plastic surgery?
I think do whatever you want. I mean, at the end of the day, whatever somebody does to their body, I don't care if they get boob implants in their cheekbones. I don't care. It doesn't affect my life on a daily basis. But that's also how I view everything.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it's so available to everybody that
Not really. You got to have money
yes, but
because
also,
otherwise I wouldn't look like this sea hag hanging out in my studio
but
here.
also it makes it so easy for all of these girls growing up to have the option and opportunity to just conform to what everybody wants them to be.
Missy says, "Do you, boo? What others do to their bodies has no effect on me or my life."
That's like
Christy says, "Do it for yourself only."
that's
yeah,
how
that's the big thing.
I ain't gonna lie. Last week, Christy took me to a spa and I tried getting Botox for some of my smile lines and my 11 lines in my forehead. Well, it didn't take because they say black don't crack. Well, I don't know what they say about Sicilians because I cracked. And it really didn't help me. It really didn't do anything. I told her she was going to need a 50-gallon vat, and just dip me in it and I don't know, make me drink the other one.
I think, yeah, do it for you.
Well-
That's the problem, is that other people are doing it so much to appease everybody else.
Well, I don't want to look like Joan Rivers
Yeah.
or
Well,
Sharon
you're not
Osbourne.
doing it for other people.
No, I'm not doing it for other people. I'm not happy when I look in the mirror, but that goes way back in the Wayback Machine, as they used to say on Bullwinkle, to how I was bullied in school
Mm-hmm.
for my looks.
So you could actually dive deeper with that one.
Go ahead.
As of right now, you're doing it for yourself, but subconsciously, you're still doing it to appease everybody else. Because you were
No,
bullied because of how you looked. So subconsciously, you're still actively trying to change how you look.
yeah, because I don't feel 62. Like I said, I could do anything a 31-year-old or a 32 or a 33-year-old could do.
Mm-hmm.
I could do shit I did back when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
Ask my youngest grandson, who I chased across the yard because he was giving me lip.
Mm-hmm.
I surprised everybody that day. They were like, "Look at that broad go,"
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I see other people my age and they look like they're in their 80s.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get there yet, you know? And I don't want to embarrass my kids.
I don't think you have to worry about that.
I do.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, my problem isn't. I'm the same way of what you do to your body, you do. What I found interesting, which was what brought up tonight's topic, was how much of that is pushed towards very, very young people, like children.
Yeah. I worry about
young
my
adults.
granddaughters.
And I mean, it's just if you like, even if you walk into, I mean, I don't walk into most of these stores, but I'm sure if you walk into a makeup store or a dress store or something, or even an ad online or something, a lot of this stuff is pushed towards like kids who should just be kids.
Yeah.
Not I know like the big one a couple years ago was Victoria's Secret, and the only reason I knew that is because I watched a documentary about it where it was, first of all, Victoria's Secret's owned by a man, very old man,
Mm-hmm.
but
He lives in Ohio.
it was their they were pushing, I guess, I don't know, the audience will have to help me because I don't know that much, but apparently there's some sort of new line of bras that they were bringing out and they were pushing it towards like little girls who were just going through puberty and
Well,
saying
they were doing like regular like training bras, but they were making them like bombshell bras and
Yeah.
push-up bras.
and it was more of like
Yeah, the Wonder Bra.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, and it was more of just the idea of why are we kind of, for lack of a better word, ending a girl's childhood so early? I mean, I think they should just enjoy life, not be told by this conglomerate that, oh, if you want to look pretty, you need to buy our bra, that, or you need to
but-
buy our makeup, or you need to do this, or you. And I'm like,
And by putting all these little twigs on magazine covers and even skincare products, you know, I have a drawer full of empty promises from all these manufacturers that have this miracle cream that's going to get rid of crow's feet. It's going to get rid of crepey skin. It's going to get rid of this. It's going to get rid of that. But they show like a 20-year-old girl putting this stuff on going, oh, it works for me. You know,
And why are you putting Eva Longoria on a skincare commercial? I know that she pays hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get facials and that she pays thousands for her injections.
yeah.
Why are you putting somebody who's been famous for 40 years on a Dove commercial?
And that's kind of where it comes from. Like, of course, she spends all that money. She can do what she wants. She's a
Her
multi-millionaire.
body, her choice.
It's her
but don't
choice, but-
tell me that your product is doing
Yeah,
this.
but don't sell it to, young adults or even, teen children that your product made her look like that.
Or even
Or
the average everyday woman who is not struggling but living paycheck to paycheck, and she thought that buying this would make her just feel a little bit better about herself.
well, it's even, I saw Kylie, what's her last name?
Jenner.
Okay. She has that lip line of
The lip
lipsticks
kit.
and pumpers, and it was, she's had work done, which, that's your prerogative. But it was more of somebody, I saw it, I think it was a TED Talk, and somebody was talking about it because the lady was making a joke of, Kylie puts her lipstick on and says, to young, I'm going to keep saying the word children because in my mind,
Yeah.
they're still
Yeah.
kids. That, if you buy my lipstick, your lips will look like full like mine are.
Well, that's
And-
because she was hiding the lip filler allegations,
Well,
and she was telling people that she just overlined her lips and used certain
With her-
lip combos.
with her, so basically she's saying is, if you want your lips to look big and plump or whatever society says they are,
Buy my product.
You need to get a good lip pumper that only she sells. And the lady on TED Talk made me laugh because they zoomed in on her face and she goes, I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I'm wearing that lipstick right now because it
Wow.
wasn't doing anything.
Mhm.
But that's more of it's not, the word would be wrong, but not predatorial, but it kind of is to me that these brands are just honing in on,
Well,
I feel like for if you're 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like all these brands are just preying on insecure, giving little girls insecure issues, saying you got to look like this to do this, and just kind of course, making it a profit thing because they're going to make money off of insecurities that they've instilled in children who should just be outside and playing and trying to get A's on schoolwork.
Yes, exactly. I agree. And it promotes sexuality, and it's over sexualizing our youth, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
Well, that's what all those companies are doing. That's why they're selling crop tops and push-up bras to 10-year-olds.
Well,
Yeah, when I walk through a department store and I see the little girls' clothes these days, they're either butt ugly that I wouldn't put on my grandma, or they are so promiscuous.
Yeah. And what do you think is going to happen when you let your 10-year-old get lip plumpers, just like at the drugstore, just that regular, just lip plumper, looks like a lip gloss.
Yeah.
Lip plumpers and eyeliner and eyeshadow, and you're letting her have fake nails and fake eyelashes.
Yeah.
She
It-
might be 10, but she looks like a prostitute
it's
now.
just where for some reason now these companies are speed running kids, especially girls' childhoods
Well,
into you have to do this.
They scream to protect the kids and
I-
all this stuff, but where are we
And if
protecting them?
if you're 18, 19, 20 years
But
old,
this whole country is being run, well, not right now, but I mean, in areas of our government and in our schools and everywhere we
It's
go,
all pedophiles.
it's all pedophiles.
it's,
You know?
it's just like if you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old women, that is your choice. You are an adult legally. You can choose, and I have no problem. It's more of just honing in on people who still have to have their mother cook their meals and do, get them to school. And it's just more of still, I mean, kids who are still trying to learn, math and history and stuff. And we're trying to get them to speed run through what should just be, stress-free, not, causing any trauma or stuff, but negative, ideas of their own body, just letting them be kids. And then if they choose, I don't like what this looks, and they choose at an appropriate adult age to do that.
Yeah.
They have an adult mindset. Well,
and what's with these kids nowadays? Like, I'm going to throw my grandkids under the bus, the 10-year-olds that talk about, oh, I've got a girlfriend, I've got a boyfriend, I've got this, I've got that.
Mm-hmm.
At 10 years old,
You have play dates.
I had no concept of boyfriend.
No.
and I guess I don't know. I don't have any sisters, so
I was making lists to Santa.
I can't vouch, and I'm not a woman, so I can't vouch for it. But at 10 years old, I was playing Foursquare on the playground, not figuring out what clothes I was going to wear or how I was going to do this, or
I was trying to protect my
I was trying to perfect
my curve and dodge.
I was trying to protect the king square. That's the top one on the Foursquare court, making sure no one got me out. Yeah. That was my biggest stressor at 10 years old.
Yeah. When I had to wear a uniform dress for school, I wore shorts underneath it because, that's how private of a person I am.
When Desi had to wear uniforms, they had her wearing a skirt and she got a skirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just kind of came up because, like I was saying before we started to go live tonight, was that, I don't remember when, but it was like I walked into Walmart and it was just like probably 6-7-year-old girl with her mom. And it was more of, obviously, I don't have kids, so I'm not going to judge anyone's parenting style. But it was just more of she was wearing, if, she was past puberty, you'd be able to see a lot of things. And it was just a crop top shirt, very, very short skirt. And I just so happened in my head was like, why'd you buy that for your kid? The other thing is like, why are we making clothes that that fits a child like that?
Why are there V-neck shirts for girls in the first place? Young children. When I say girls, I mean young children, like 5, 6, 7 years old. I remember very vividly when Desi was only 2. I had her in just a tank top, and one of the neighbors was over and talking to us, and he was sitting there and looking down a 2-year-old shirt. My boys threw him off of the property in a heartbeat, and I mean, they all but beat the crap out of him right there on the spot. They were like, "Get the F out of here. We don't need that around here. What kind of freak are you?" Because it was very noticeable.
And it's bad on like the people making this clothes, but also the parents.
Well, I had my 2-year-old daughter in a tank top.
I'm saying the short skirts, the crop tops,
stuff
like that. Because if the parents weren't buying these clothes, the companies wouldn't be able to make them.
Yes, and I think it's also half and half. I was thinking, which I will exclude names because they're listening, they'll know the story. But when we were at the Rumble by the River, and it is just so. 2 things. We say, pedophiles are bad, which absolutely they are. But then we sell clothing that,
yes,
in some way, I mean, to all of us sitting here, it doesn't promote anything. We all just are kind of like, why are we?
No, but it doesn't deter it.
No, but it doesn't deter it. I mean, to the normal person, they're not going to be like, wow. But it's more of like, I'm just like I said, just like, well, what made you buy that for your 6-year-old? But it was I feel like for certain people who don't have that, the restraint that normal people have, it's kind of dangling a carrot.
Yeah.
And I was saying, and I will exclude the names, but we were at Rumble by the River, and there was, it was great. I forgot who was playing band or something. There was like a giant Bella Kane was playing. There's a pit. All of us were going crazy. It was like 4 of us who are adults, and then one 10-year-old kid, and yeah, she was a girl, and she wasn't wearing anything inappropriate. It was an oversized T-shirt, and I think she even had long pants on underneath and tennis shoes, which surprised she didn't die from the heat.
Stroke, yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was all of a sudden this gentleman right behind, which kudos to her mother,
Creep.
walked over and just blatantly
He
touched her and tried to get
he like tapped her on the shoulder and asked her if she was 21.
Oh.
And he was just super.
Okay, Missy says I can use names. It's Missy and her kid, and Missy,
Well,
kudos to you.
Yeah, it kind of was obvious.
But it was like first of all, rewind a second. First of all, I'm sure all of us here will agree. I will never touch anyone's child. First of
No.
all, at all.
Ryan, I'm going to interject here. Ryan came from a family where he's got a twin brother and another brother, and he's never really been around kids. So when he came into our family, he was very standoffish, and the grandkids all wanted to hug him. They were like, Ryan, you're back. And they wanted to hug him. And he's like, do I hug him or what do I do?
He said,
And
I don't know what's allowed.
yeah, he didn't know what was allowed, and he'd like pat him on the back as they were hugging his leg, and he's like, okay, kid, get off me.
Yeah, I also was not used to children.
That's
at
what
that
she
point.
said. Is
Yeah,
that you've
yeah.
never been
Just-
around a kid.
Yeah, he's never
the
been
energy
around.
of them to begin with was a very big shocker. But and
now you know why I have gray hair and dye my hair.
But anyways, he went over. I'll make it quick. He went over, tapped her. Missy was on the ball.
Missy and Desi.
They both were on the ball. I mean, I was not. I
didn't know what was happening.
I saw it happen, and I saw Missy already taking care of it. But I kind of, for about 20 seconds, stood there completely horrified at the
Yeah.
fact that it wasn't. I mean, Missy and Desi already cut him off. Missy said something like, "Get away from my kid."
Yeah.
And that was it. And we all like kind of moved around
We
Delilah.
built a wall around her.
And so it was just, but it was more of like, right after it was over, it was like the 20 seconds I was sitting there, where it was just like, not that I was terrified. It was more of like, I was terrified for her and kids like her.
Yeah.
That some adult would just do that. It was just more of, yes, the situation was taken care of. That's great. And I was like, it was just more of my mind being like, oh my God, like imagine how many 10-year-old girls have that happen where their mother isn't paying attention. I mean, there easily could go worse, the wrong direction. And it was just more of that. And also what makes, of course, I can't figure it out, but what makes a grown ass adult feel that it's appropriate and to touch and make a comment, because it was about a comment of something, I don't remember, wasn't listening, but make a comment about someone else's child, let alone a child, was where the shock, I think, set in for me, was that, oh my God, I don't have children, so I don't see, I guess when we talk about, like a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about pedophile stuff, I don't see it because I don't have kids.
Yeah.
But I think that was like the first one where I was like, oh my, like, crap, that really does happen. And people are so loose in the head, they think it's appropriate to do it.
See, my girls, when we went shopping for clothes, they already had it embedded in their head that my dad wouldn't approve of that. He'd kill me.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
just more of a, I think I was reading, I think Christy said that too, was just more of like the standard of, some of our moms held us to high standards. So like just more of the, I'm sure that kids try to sneak out wearing that clothes or whatever, but it's also more of not so, one is, yes, the company's doing that, but it's also the parents who are buying it and putting their children in it is
Yeah.
also the problem.
And I think the schools should be more strict with their standards on clothing too. They've really slacked.
Oh,
They
the dress
did,
code.
But also, I kind of feel like they think that if they push too hard in one way, that a kid's gonna rebel and push
That
even
is-
harder the opposite way.
That is actually a really interesting point. And now I wish Missy was here because her kids are about to go into school. Because I'm curious what the dress code is now. Because it was very strict when I was in school for men and women. It didn't matter. And
Girls, for the skirts, it had to go past your fingertips with your hands by your side.
Yeah.
mine couldn't go, for girls, it couldn't be over the kneecaps. You had to have your knees covered.
Yeah.
But I'm curious now. So next time I see you, Missy, you got to tell us what the dress code is. Because I'm kind of curious if they've changed that for how society now
Well,
says
what
they
I'm saying
should
is
dress.
like makeup.
Mm-hmm. We were.
There should, the parents and teachers should work in conjunction. They should get together and be like, well, I don't think that girls should wear makeup before 15, or whatever, to school.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you do at home, the teacher doesn't have a right
Missy
to say
said
anything.
1 inch below the fingertip for skirts.
So
Why are your hands?
I
that
thought it
high?
was from your hips you had to do it.
No, you put your hands all the way down by your side,
Oh,
which my hands go nearly to my kneecap because I
I
have
thought it was
gorilla
finger.
arms.
I thought it was from the. Which
Yeah,
If
I
I was
got
a girl,
long
I'd be
arms.
wearing pants.
Yeah. It's just because I think in my
And
school.
Parents need to talk to their kids even at a young age. I mean, I was very open with you guys. I used to scare the hell out of my kids. I'd tell them, never talk to strangers because they're going to kidnap you and they are going to torture you. You will never see your parents again.
Because she used to say they're not going to kill you. You're going to wish you were dead.
I mean, not wrong.
That's what I tell Delilah and all them too. All of Missy's kids, all of
Yeah.
Haley's kids. You're going to wish you were dead. Death is an easy way out.
I mean, it's just Missy said no makeup in elementary school and no dyed hair. That's exactly how it was for me.
Yeah.
No bra strap showing. Yeah.
But
It
I've
was
seen
sleeves.
girls in elementary school with highlights
Yeah.
and, blonde, the money pieces. And
And all of these
it's like, what are you
rules,
doing to your child?
Once you get to like middle school, all of these rules go out the window.
Yeah.
Because you cannot tell me. When Mia was in high school, I was with Mia a lot.
Yeah.
Dropping her off, picking her up, dropping her off lunch, stuff like that. Seeing some of the outfits that all of these girls are wearing is insane.
So I guess we could table this for a second because I just had a question for you because you've had daughters.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about all that and I was thinking between clothes, makeup, hair,
Mhm.
dyeing hair, wearing makeup, and any provocative clothing. In my head, I was trying to think, if I had a daughter, would there be tiers to it?
Yep.
That's what I was going to ask you is there would you
Haley
see?
was the makeup queen and I love her to
Not
pieces.
until she was
but
like
she was in high
16,
school. She
17?
was like
16.
16 and a half and she started wearing makeup to school and dad was not happy. And I found out because she came home one day and she forgot to take the eyeshadow off after school in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is that on your face? And she goes, what? And I
remember
said,
that.
when did you start wearing makeup? And she goes, I don't wear makeup. I said, girl, that purple better be black eyes then. I said, because if not, I'm going to make them black eyes.
Missy really has to work on her typing skills.
Why? What's
Dear
she
God, every other word's a typo. She says in the sores. What's a sore?
Well,
Yeah, I think that like makeup and hair dye are like we'll have a conversation
see,
Yeah.
I
because
thought
that's kind of my fault because I put it off. I just said no.
like I feel
I
like
didn't tell
makeup
her
and
when.
hair can be like expression.
Yeah.
But once you're starting to wear skimpy clothes, now you're just showing your body and now it's crossing lines.
see, I think more of I was thinking more of the idea of at a, it doesn't matter middle school, high school, whatever you choose for your child. I was thinking maybe hair, accessories, coloring, that stuff is a good introduction into before makeup and before,
And don't
skimpy
start
clothes.
out with letting them just
Yeah,
get purple
just
hair.
kind of
You can get highlights.
I was trying to think of more of the idea of would you do it more of a level base of we'll introduce them to hair coloring and styling and then kind of
When you're not in school, you can wear the colored clip-ins.
Mhm.
that's what I guess my question was. Would you do stages of
would you ease your kid
ease them
into
into one at a time?
allowing it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Age appropriation.
yeah,
Yes.
Though, I don't want my 11-year-old looking like a prostitute.
yeah.
Nothing against prostitutes, do you, boo? But that's not for my daughters.
Get that
They make more
coin.
money than I do.
Yeah,
Get
get that coin.
but nothing before 8th grade.
No, nothing before
Yeah,
8th
No,
grade.
you're lucky if you go to school with your nails painted.
But
that's all. Well, I don't know if males.
when you think of how old is a typical 8th grader?
13.
Yeah, 13. Oh, That's
13.
a
13's
really
a little
difficult
yeah.
stage. I don't need no 13-year-old walking around thinking she's grown because she's wearing eyeshadow.
Or becoming pregnant.
I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of younger kids also have like those acrylic nails on
Yeah.
12, 13 years old.
Ask Missy sometime when she went on her first date.
She was probably like 17.
Well, she'll answer.
She was older than
She'll
that.
answer in the comment section in a minute.
She was older than 17.
Mom used to tell us that you can't date unless you can pay for it yourself and you can drive yourself. Other than that, it's play dates.
That is a good rule. I
I was an
agree with that.
ogre.
No,
I think-
it's very
I think I would agree with that.
yeah.
Her first date, she went with a group of people and a boy. That's all Dad had to
Uh-oh.
hear.
Uh-oh.
She went to Pizza Hut. They were
So
going,
romantic.
can't we go? Can't we go? Please, Mom, please. And I said, fine. But Dad's going to be sitting out in the parking lot.
Mhm.
And you better sit by the window on the side where Dad is.
Mhm.
And he
Surprised
sat
wasn't in a
there.
booth behind them.
He sat there the entire time. There was going to be no hanky-panky, no shenanigans, no copy-feely,
19.
nothing, because Wayne would have charged in like a raging bull.
Missy said she was 19.
And now ask her what I required of the boy. I made a copy of his driver's license.
Mhm.
Saw his name and everything, and his address was on there.
And
And
she even had his phone number.
I had his
blood
phone
samples.
number. And
Mom
yeah.
used to talk to their parents.
Oh yes. If
Well, I-
they were going just to somebody's house,
Well,
I need to talk to the parents.
I think you do that.
And I asked, are you going to be home? Are you leaving to go anywhere? How far away is it where you're going? Are there any guns in the house? Are they locked up? No? Okay. Well, try another child because
Yeah.
mine ain't coming.
Missy says name, address, phone number, license plate.
Yep,
Yeah, I
license
took down
plate,
their
too.
license plate numbers too.
I think that's kind of I hope standard is that if
Oh.
you're taking your kid to even at any age a play date, you at least talk to the adult who's in the house
Yeah, but
first. You don't just drop them off on the driveway and say, "Have a good one. See you in a
some
bit."
parents don't have that level of care in them.
Well, see, I was unprotected as a child. I was on my own. My grandma Rose, she basically raised me until my mom got married to my stepdad and we moved away. And so I was unprotected, and many things have happened to me in my lifetime. And I was going to make damn sure that none of it happened to my children. I know it's really warm in here.
That's okay.
Do you want to take the box fan that's in the hallway and put it in the window?
No, it'll interfere with the noise.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, open the door then.
That's fine.
Yeah, so I'm overprotective because I'm overcompensating for what my mom didn't do for me.
I
I
think you're overprotective.
I
You're
was
just
gonna
showing that
say-
you care.
I was gonna say, I think in this day and age there isn't a thing of overprotecting. Because what happens? You're gonna be less protective, and then something's gonna fall through the crack.
Well, I mean, overprotective would
Well,
be
I mean,
like keeping your kid at home,
Yeah,
never letting
in
them
a
leave the
like
house.
I guess if we're gonna get extreme, it's like keeping your kid in a bubble and just not letting them
Bubble
in the
boy.
outside world. Yeah, like the bubble boy. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people say I'm a helicopter mom and that I'm in my kid's business, but I didn't take. And also they say, oh my God, she's got 8 kids. Ugh, and she's probably on the system too, but I'm not. We took care of our own kids,
Mhm.
and I didn't go into parenthood lightly. I made a promise to God that I would protect that child with every fiber of my being. And I think my kids can all attest to the fact that if there was even an ounce of trouble, mom was standing right behind you, and within seconds, I got there before the cops did. I raised 2
Yeah.
of my boys with a police scanner.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that's overbearing at all. I think that's better than the vast opposite.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For
I
sure.
didn't stick my kids with babysitters. I didn't stick them in preschools or.
It's like I think I just saw on the news in Milwaukee. It was these 2 made me think of it because Delilah's 10. She's close enough. These 2 9-year-olds walked into a Walgreens and I guess robbed the place. And it's just more of the fact of there's overprotecting, and then there's obviously those 2 children that and their mothers were on the news and were like, we do free roam parenting. We don't watch where our kids go.
They're not chickens. They're not free range
And
chickens.
I was more of
Yeah.
like, well, that's the vast, opposite is that, because they were like, well, we didn't know our kids were doing that. And I'm like, well, maybe if you, at least gave a little bit of protection on them, you would have known that they were up to no good. Because, kids are going to do that.
Not even like I don't know. There's like, yes, watching your kids, but there's also how you raise the kids and who you let them associate with.
My kids were more scared of me than the cops.
Hmm.
I was the disciplinarian. I was the bad cop, I guess, in the situation. Good cop, bad cop.
That's how I was too. My dad was a very pushover. My mom was scary.
Yeah, dad's a pushover. I'm not.
Yeah.
Your dad was gone for.
But that's
weeks at a
because
time.
I know what I did as a kid. I knew what you guys were going to do before you even knew what you were going to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, mine was more of dad would just be like, oh, don't do that again. And mom, to the point where it has caused so much issue, she would come home, somehow find out something happened while she was at work, and she would come home and she would wear to work these like stiletto heels, and our whole house was tiled to the point now if I hear a stiletto heel hit the tile, I start to shiver, because she wouldn't say a word. She just walks in the door, and of course the moment her car hits the driveway, we're gone, hiding in a closet, a hamper, it doesn't matter where. And all you hear is just click, 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 all around the house. And then it was like, I had two brothers, so when she found one, you knew she found him.
Yeah.
And then she would take care of that one, and then she to the next one, and it was just to the point now where even if I hear it, I'm like, ugh, she's gonna find me.
Yeah, I have gone to people's houses and snatched my child back from the trouble that they were into. I don't know. And my favorite thing to say was, all right, get the spoon, because I had a wooden spoon and I drew a happy face on it, and we called him Mr. Happy. And I'd say, go get the spoon. Kind of like go get a switch.
Yeah.
I learned about that last week.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, we dived really far off the path last week on that one.
Because I thought switches was a slave thing.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
Because Michael Jackson's
and then
dad, Michael Jackson was.
and
a
then we
slave.
jumped into
Never mind.
last week's topic. And then somehow last week we jumped in from that to the pineapples and gnomes and flamingos and
Yeah.
apparently chairs.
Let's not go back to that.
And that's how we went.
Mason, just sit there and look pretty.
Yeah.
Trying, but I'm sweating.
Okay, so if you felt uncomfortable about anything about yourself, do you feel comfortable with having something done?
Oh yeah, if I have the money, watch out, world.
Well, like I said, I don't want to look like Sharon Osbourne.
Actually,
or
No, I don't think there's actually anything that like cosmetically
Mm-mm.
I would change. I just wish I had the energy to go to the gym.
And another thing is, I think people have
Maybe
to be.
Botox in my forehead, but that's it.
I think people need to be in the right frame of mind when they go into things like even lip injections. Did you see some of those baboon butt lips that some of these women have that literally, I don't know how they breathe out of their nose?
Or when they have so much that their mouth stays open.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess, yeah. If I had money, I'd get my teeth done.
Well, you two are gorgeous. You're young.
had my
Same with
teeth.
Christy. Christy's all worried about her laugh lines or smile lines or whatever you want to call them. How old is she? She's like 35,
I know you did.
40, in that range, 35, 40 area.
Vinny's age, right?
Okay. Vinny was born in 88.
86. Oh, yeah, 88.
Yeah.
So 37.
Okay. So 37. She's still young. And her face is beautiful. Christy has a very beautiful face. I was looking at her eyes the other day when we were, last week when we were at that spa.
Mhm.
I was like, why is she having anything put into her face? If I still look like that, damn, look out.
I'm going to be a hoe.
No.
If I was fit. Just kidding.
I went through
Not the dance moves you have.
I went
Hey.
through the awkwardly weird stage up until I was like 15.
I was like 5'3", and like 80 pounds when I was like 16.
But then from 15 until I hit 50, I think I was pretty. I wasn't gorgeous, but I was pretty. But then I don't know, life happens, and everybody's like, oh, she let herself go. Honey, I couldn't rein it in because my life is crazy.
Honey, I've been around the world, the sun 62 times. You do that.
But like I said, I see other people, like people I went to school with.
Sun. That's every day. That's only 62 days.
Yeah, I think you missed that one.
I'm in nursing, not science. Oh, technically it is.
You lost me there. Oh, okay, because you said been around the
Sun.
sun
62 times, which that wouldn't. be
Whatever.
correct.
Let's continue the conversation.
But
Isn't around the universe, around the solar system is a year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all dark up there.
I don't know.
None of us are going to be astronauts.
I've like scoped on people's Facebook pages that I knew back in high school and stuff, and I was like, damn, that's rough. They lived a rough life,
I don't know. I stalk. Occasionally I get someone from high
Well,
school. I should see
somebody-
what they're doing.
Somebody who shall remain nameless, because somebody else knows them that might be listening to this eventually, made a comment about my neck, leathery looking neck.
Yeah, that's their face on the ground.
But claimed to be a Christian.
People love
Well,
claiming to be
not-
Christians
well,
but then judging so
Nothing
much.
like accepting everyone for the way they are.
Yeah.
I had better things to worry about than a morning regimen, a beauty regimen, and things like that. I have a business to run. I have 8 kids to run. I have 14 grandchildren, 11 of which I see, and I'm very much a part of their lives. It's called priorities.
The most I do for skincare, I wash my face.
Well, guys, it's a
And the-
different story.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a little
Guys
different.
be having some ratchet skin too.
Oh, I'm not going to deny that.
I got some good skin.
But how old are you?
26. Almost at.
Do you know what I look like at 26? You with long hair. No beard or mustache, though.
Ugly woman.
No. I was pretty.
Wash my face. I use a moisturizer every day, and it has sunscreen in it. That's it.
Sunscreen is no good for you now. They're warning
Neither is
you
skin
about the
cancer.
stuff that's in the SPF. That's all bullshit.
But it didn't work because I went on the boat with your family. I got sunburn. Liza
So
Minnelli.
Some people just walk around with diabetes.
Mhm. I'm a diabetic.
I don't think I'd ever get drastic, like I sit there and I think, damn, maybe I should have that eyelid reduction and I should have
That's a thing.
this and I should
It
have
is.
that.
I didn't even know that.
It's because as you get older, your eyelids get some like
Hooded.
Yep.
Oh.
So then they cut a pizza slice out of it and pin them up.
Oh, that's why Joan Rivers always looked so surprised.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
because she had like 9 facelifts. But now they did facelifts so weird because old facelifts, I watched, the botched guy, Dr. Dubrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on a podcast talking about it.
Uh-huh.
And back in the day, they used to just do a skin facelift,
Uh-huh.
just the skin. But now they take the muscle and everything and pull it back.
That's what
Yikes.
you do. If you're
That sounds horrifying.
that's what you do. If your 10-year-old's thinking about getting, saying they don't look pretty and stuff,
Show
you just
them
put them in
some
front of
plastic surgery.
you put them in
videos.
front of the botched ones. Trust me, they'll never say it again.
Yeah, make them watch the procedure.
Yeah. I think it's also in the botched show. You see the procedure.
You
Just
do.
don't show them the
I used to
after.
love the bot show.
But, actually, that would be my parenting style. Here, you sit down and watch this.
I used to think that the same thing. I used to make my kids watch like Scared Straight, where
Oh, I loved
they
that
bring
show.
in a group of kids into a prison Yeah, well, it didn't work on my boys.
Inside joke.
Yeah, he was making a very different joke.
Oh, okay. But anyway,
Getting her a T-shirt.
I tried as a parent.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, they're gonna do what they're gonna do after 18, regardless of what you
Yeah,
say.
I was gonna say it's after 18 they are fully and also pretty much legally can do whatever they want.
But legally.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean,
can't drink, can't vape.
I mean, for me, I was 18, but no, my mother was like, "You still live under my roof. Just because you're 18 doesn't mean you get to
Oh
do it."
yeah, that's another thing.
What?
So I guess I kind of know yours, but everybody else doesn't. Your parenting style, is it once they're 18 they can do what they want, or once they move out?
Move out.
That's how I'd be.
Yeah, because you're still living under my roof. You're still bringing
Yeah,
your
if you're
bullshit
in my
problems to my
house-
door. Cops come looking for you. They're coming to my door. If I have to stand toe to toe with a cop and argue that,
Mhm.
whatever, no, your ass is mine once that door closes and
What
the
if
cop
it's
leaves.
something not like criminal related, like if they want to get a tattoo?
I let my kids get tattoos at 18. What was I going to say? No,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
your body.
Yeah.
Every day I used to tell my kids, every one of them, you included, the girls, I'd say, don't come home knocked up. My boys, I'd say, don't knock anything up.
Mm-hmm.
As they walked out the door, I said, because you're not raising them here.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, I guess tattoos, like for the most part, I feel like I would be just like, do whatever you want. But if you're going to be 18 and like tattoo your face, you're not going to do that because you're never moving out of my house then.
Yeah,
You're never getting
gonna
a
get
job.
decent job.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Tattoos is definitely. I like tattoos. I think they're great, but I don't know how that would change if it was your child. I don't know, because I'm sure you think your child's perfect. So
You were against, you said you'd be against
yeah,
tattoos
it's just more
for
of
a kid.
because well, kid. I'm talking about like 18 and up, but you can't stop them. But it was the more of like you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're perfect the way you are.
Yeah.
I didn't get my first tattoo. I was very anti-tattoo until, what was it, 6 years ago?
5?
No, 6.
Oh, okay.
It was 6 years ago.
Well, I guess it was before COVID.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just didn't see what anybody saw in it. Like, I see women in formal dresses, right? And then I look at their arms and their shoulders, and it's like, wow, that looks really trashy with that dress.
I think, no.
What?
Like, if like somebody's wearing like a wedding dress and they have tattoos up and down their arms, that's hot.
I see it the other way. you know?
Anyways,
Well,
I love you, Ryan.
but I guess it also depends on the tattoo. Like if it's something like really like absurd and trashy, then no. But I
don't
usually
know.
like tattoos.
I don't know.
I see-
Tattoos is a very gray area for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it depends. I don't care. I think tattoos look great on people, but in the aspect of my own children, I don't know how I'd feel.
Mm.
Well, see, like mine all have meaning in my life.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what mine are
Like-
for.
I've got the eye for being a seer. I've got the rosary because I love my rosary. And I've got Omerta on my arm, but that's
Why would a Sicilian woman have a Spanish word on her? Hey, loca.
I said, is that Spanish?
Italian.
no, it's the code. It's the code of
of
silence.
Wow, I always assumed that was a
Yeah,
Spanish
somebody's
word.
never seen The Godfather.
No, I always assumed that was Spanish.
No,
Just breaking down barriers here. I always assumed you had a Spanish word on your arm, and I was like, huh.
Do we look Spanish?
Well, that I wasn't I'm not gonna ask why there's a Spanish word on her arm. I just was like, that's a really interesting thing.
It's the code of silence.
You, Missy, and Haley all have Italian words on you.
It's just stuff that I believe in and stuff that has meaning. I'm not the type that's going to go out and get those gumball machine tattoos. What are
I
they?
will.
Whatever you pick, that's what the tattoo artist has to put on
That's
you.
how I got.
No, I'd end up with some Chinese symbol that says "I fuck donkeys" or something. I don't know.
That's how I got 2 of my tattoos in a gumball machine.
I don't agree with those.
The third one wasn't a tattoo gumball machine, but pretty
No,
close.
this one was just a flash sale tattoo.
This was.
Oh, that one, I was drunk and got it for free.
I don't know. I do tattoos that have meaning. I mean, I only have one, but
It's the size of a quarter.
yeah, but I don't know. I never see the idea of just getting a random tattoo, which if you do that, great. I just always see like a meaning of like, a family member or something.
See, like mine were, some of them were random, but it worked out to where I could tie a meaning to it.
Yeah.
Like the one that I got for free in a bar.
Yeah.
I had them. What is it actually?
You had them put
The rose.
It's
the
a rose in the
and then
broken
G.
bottle. But then I gave him a sob story. And he put the G in there. So then that was Yaya's
Well,
tattoo.
the bottle was already part of it. I thought you switched it to a rose because it was like a daisy.
I think it was a lily.
It was a lily, and we switched it to the rose because of. Wasn't that right after the burial?
Yeah, that's what we tossed in.
Yeah,
on the
and then
casket.
the G was the 2 switches. This part was all the same. He
Yeah.
wanted to put a daisy or something on top.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys read the comments? We've
Okay.
fallen really far
I've
behind.
been staring at them.
They also seem to be delayed, to be honest.
Yeah, they're also slightly delayed on our end. Chrissy's, I'm way up here.
Start at Christy with there's no such thing as being overprotective for your children, just like there's no such thing as a good neighbor.
Oh yeah,
And then
I
you
just saw
talked
that
about
one.
you had 2 kids that you raised with a scanner. She said, I can't even guess which 2.
Then I'm up further
Then
because
Missy,
I see the one where she says, "I'll never forget when Missy came outside in a skirt and James told in front of her and covered her up with his jacket and said, 'Get your ass back in the house.'"
Yeah. Well, Jimmy and Vinny, if I wore shorts outside or a tank top, they would lose their ever loving mind and say, "Mom, get in the house and put some clothes on." I mean, whatever, they're being protective of me.
and then
Oh, I lost everybody.
Missy said, I need a gym buddy. And then Christy said she'll take 35 for her age. Because you didn't know how they
I don't
range.
know, and I didn't want to
Yeah.
pinpoint her to a number.
Missy said, I'd fix so much if I had the money. And then Christy said, what women who put down women are miserable. So I don't know who it was, but if it was a female, girl, bye. And then we need a prison for toddlers to scare them straight.
That's what.
Just bring them to Granny. Granny is the disciplinarian.
And then you brought up the tattoos and a wedding dress. And Christy said, okay, so long sleeves at my wedding, should there ever be one. And then Missy said, mine can get tattoos when they're 18. I went with me on her 18th birthday, and we got 2 matching tattoos.
Oh, that has meaning because they both match.
And then she said, hey, now I have 2 gumball tattoos. And then Christy said, the way I cackled at, I F donkeys. Thank God you guys can't hear our end.
It was Mia and Missy's have meaning because they both have the same.
Well, when I was dissing the gumball tattoos, that's just my opinion.
Oh, it's mine too. I mean, I don't care what anybody does. If you get it, you get it. I won't get it for myself,
Yeah.
but because
As long as you don't come at me looking like that one rapper, what was his name? Skittle Boy.
Tekashi
Tekashi
6ix9ine.
Yeah. If my kid ever looked like that, I would beat the tattoos right off of his face.
It's more of, I feel like, I guess my fear would be is I get a gumball tattoo, 10 years down the road, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like at least like the one on my no one can see it, but the one on my wrist is for like my grandma who always said I love you to the moon and back.
Yeah.
I'll never get tired of that one. Like that will never lose its meaning, even if I don't like the way it looks.
My mom used to say that to me
I got
too.
tired of my grandma.
The one on you just got it for her?
No,
Oh.
that's the only grandma I had. It was
Yeah, that's why
it
I'm
was
like,
a
you're
joke.
tired of it already.
No, it was a joke.
Oh.
De loca.
Well, you also
Tough crowd here, guys.
Also, he was so going back to the one that Mason got for his grandma. It was also 3 things were changed. It was the G added the rose, and then he was only doing arms. But you did it on the back of your arm for like watching your back kind of thing. Which he wasn't going to do it to the back of your arm at all because it was supposed to be just the arms.
It was just supposed to be forearms.
Forearms.
And I think that was it.
I think that was the only option. And Mason was like, "Well, I want it back here."
Ankles or something.
Because I think I said to him because I was like asking, "Are you sure you want to do this?" But
yeah, it was like having my mother.
You had a lot of drinks in you. I was making sure that was your sober
See,
choice.
that's the thing. When you guys go out, I always tell you to have each other's backs and watch out for each other.
And then I was more of like, "Well, why are you putting it on the back of your arm? You won't be able to see it." And you were like, "Well, then she's watching my back."
Yeah.
I honestly love that place.
But Mason will say anything to justify himself.
Yeah. He had to talk himself into it.
Am I wrong?
Were you in the wrong state of mind? Yeah.
No, that was my only concern was just because it was we were there for a work event and one of our reps for our employer offered to pay for it for Mason. And she
they had like a pop-up tattoo.
Yeah, and she
stand
walked
at
up and
this
said,
event.
I see you like tattoos, I will buy you one. And he jumped right off his stool and was gone. And I was more of the, yes, this is very exciting. Let's, tone it down and make sure we actually want
But
this.
actually, so before I even had any drinks, I went over to that tattoo stand and I picked out which tattoo I would get because I was contemplating buying one.
Yeah.
But then I was like, $150 for a bar tattoo.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But I picked it out and said what I would customize about it.
Do you know what that reminds me of?
What?
Remember the movie Old Dogs?
Yeah.
Where Robin Williams
Fremont?
wanted a tattoo because he was going through a divorce or whatever
Mhm.
that said "free man," and it was in some other country. I forgot where he went,
Mexico or something.
but it said Fremont,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yep. And then once the tattoo artist started, he told me that he's already had, mind you, the event started like 2-3 hours prior.
Yeah.
He said that he's already had 10 shots.
Oh, sweet
So
baby
I was like,
Jesus,
"Dear
that would not
Lord,"
happen.
I said, please don't slip any subliminal messages into this tattoo.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that was nice too. Nothing like
But his line work was so good for being drunk.
nothing like him saying, "Oh man, I've had a lot of shots today." Mason's like, "Oh."
Now, how about my first tattoo artist that I had to go in and get AIDS testing because turns out he had AIDS and was purposefully and knowingly spreading it to other people.
Yeah. And he didn't, because with HIPAA, you don't have to like tell your employer that.
Yeah.
No.
Which I think if you work in the field of stabbing people,
I
you should have to have some sort of disclosure with your employer.
I feel like that
No.
should be a requirement.
HIPAA says you don't have to tell them anything.
Wow.
Because even
Nothing.
like a nurse or something,
No.
I feel like that would be something you
Yeah, that
probably
was
should disclose.
the eye on my left forearm. He did that one and had me so scared. I didn't even know how to bring it up to you. I was like, Mason,
Well,
we need to talk.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
I have AIDS.
No.
Not laughing about it, but whatever.
No, I told you that I had to go in and get checked because it came out. It was on the news and everything.
And then, because I saw his mugshot and I was like, this man looks familiar.
Yeah.
You look familiar.
Yeah. And then Mom freaked out a bit, and then we ate at Denny's. It was Philip Friday.
Yeah.
Denny's should put that on their commercial.
Yeah.
Well,
When you're at the
then,
peak of crashing out, go to Denny's.
yeah.
Yep.
I love Denny's.
I miss Philip Fridays.
Yeah, me too.
I never went to a Denny's until I moved to Wisconsin. They
Fill
don't
up
really
your
have them
bank,
down
fill
there.
up your tank, and fill your belly.
I was the first person to take you to Denny's.
I've never been. They don't have them down there.
Because Illinois sucks.
They have IHOP. A lot of IHOPs.
Yeah, they can hop away.
We went to IHOP yesterday. I got gut rot. Just
Yeah.
ugh,
Yeah, I've only been to one up here.
with their lead pancakes.
The only time I've been to an IHOP was, is that where we went after? No, we were going to go there after Yaya's funeral.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We did. So I've never been to IHOP.
I thought we went to one in Milwaukee. Maybe we thought about it and didn't do it.
Yeah. Because the only one in Milwaukee's in a very bad area.
It's by American Family Field.
Yeah, no thank you.
So, getting back to the whole body shaming thing, and
Yeah, we went to pancakes.
how did we get to pancakes?
I told you it migrates.
And you were worried that we weren't going to have enough to do a 2-hour conversation on.
Been over an hour.
Did somebody just comment? I think Christy said
Christine is here figuring out tattoos.
something. Oh. Why?
Because
Missy needs to
Christy's
hook up.
cousin tattoos
Yeah.
her.
Missy needs a hookup for tattoos.
Oh, good lord. I think I'm done. I
Christy
was
said,
gonna
"Focus,
get more."
people, focus. It's hard to focus when you have unmedicated ADHD.
But I did start The Witches of
Rosewood Village.
Rosewood Village yesterday.
Yeah. I know. I felt so bad.
Why?
You just started texting me to like get input, and I was like, I'm at an event. So
yes.
shall we?
Well,
Yeah.
because we were in the car and he said it. He goes, I was like, what? And he goes, oh, she needs. You didn't say it right. You're like, she needs me to look at this. And I was like, we can go over now. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
need to go to this. And he was
He
like,
was
no.
gonna drive here yesterday.
What kind of event was it?
It was
That
that stupid
band.
Bertha. Okay, so it's called Bertha the Grateful Drag. It's that drag cover band.
Oh,
It's terrible.
Horrible.
I think we lasted about 30 minutes and walked out. Tickets were
I-
free, so.
Yeah. Expensive tickets too. They're like $100 a
Yeah.
piece.
go get the notebook that's on the breakfast bar. That's got the 3 paragraphs that I've gotten started.
We need better chairs.
I tried explaining to Missy. I know, leave the door open when you come in. I tried explaining to Missy the voice that was in my head as I was trying to start the book. And she never saw Desperate Housewives, so she doesn't know the narrator's voice. It's a very, what would you describe
Not
her as?
mellow, but very. The
voice,
the
that does
voiceover on
narration.
or Desperate Housewives.
Ooh, Mary Alice.
Yeah.
I guess it's
Very.
calm but ominous.
Yeah.
You can read it.
Oh, I don't want to.
Please read it. This is just the first 3 paragraphs of The Witches of Rosewood Village.
This is awkward.
It's story time.
I'm not gonna lie. Last time I had to read in front of people was in library class.
You're only reading in front of 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Missy and Christy.
Yeah, that's true.
Tough
but-
crowd here. Rosewood Village was not unlike other subdivisions in suburban America. It was a quiet neighborhood just outside of Windham, Vermont. No hustle and bustle of city life. Quite the opposite, in fact. Residents of Rosewood Village congregated every Sunday in the local church for Mass and sat down to Sunday dinners with their entire families. The streets were lined with beautiful, well-maintained homes in the upper middle and high class. Every lawn meticulous, every garden prizeworthy. The type of neighborhood that dreams are made of. Much like many towns, Rosewood Village had its secrets, secrets buried long ago, secrets that could very well shake the very ground it was founded upon.
And that's all I
Dun,
have
dun,
thus far.
dun.
But that woman's voice, for some reason, was like narrating the story in my head.
So we binge
I wish we could. Can you pull it up, the very beginning of Desperate Housewives, so you can hear the voice that was actually narrating to me?
We binge watched it, and now throughout my daily life, I find her narrating my story in my head.
Exactly. I don't know why her voice just stuck with me, and I was like, why is she telling me what to write? You know how, like, when you're reading it back, you're like hearing that voice. Mason's trying to find it, so if you hear clips of things, that's
Got
what
a
he's doing.
Bookings.com commercial
Oh, no commercials.
because they heard about the vacations.
Yeah, there you go. Bear with us. Okay, you ready?
Exactly 1 year had passed since the night Mike Delfino and Susan Meyer were supposed to become engaged. That's one. And it's a good thing that was rehearsal
Oh.
because I messed up.
It's her practicing it.
Well,
They got the idea.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure they got the idea. But that perky, happy, blonde, rich suburbanite woman
Mm-hmm.
voice was like, as I'm reading it back, I'm like, that doesn't sound like me, but we're going to go with it.
We can get her to do the voiceover.
Hey, that'd be great. Anyway, I wish you could have found a better clip of it, but
Yeah, I know.
to give our listeners here, our 3 listeners, oh, I guess there's 4 people on.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back to the book, I think that's where we're going to go for now. I've been talking about this book for 2 years now, and every time I sit down to write it, I mean, we even did pages and pages of characteristics of each of the characters.
Well, we had like a file for each
They're
character.
all hanging behind me on the board.
Well, the sticky notes of it, but we made like packets for each person.
They're right there.
Listen, they're all
Character
right there.
development.
Oh, yeah.
Let's pull this one and see who we got. I'm going to give you guys an insight on one of the characters from the book. Okay. Who did I pick?
Hopefully, it's not like the mailman.
Ruby Jensen. She bought her house and the empty lot next door.
Rich.
She made that coin.
Mm-hmm.
Each one of the characters has a special gift. Like, one is a seer, another one, like this one here, she just kind of like feels what's going to happen. She's got red hair. She's 30 years old, born in 1989. It says, what's the zodiac sign? Does his or her zodiac sign have any bearing on their personality or traits? Ruby Jensen is a Cancer. She's emotional and loving, imaginative and cautious. She's protective, moody, over-emotional, and too clingy.
Dang, I'm a Cancer, aren't I?
How does your character like to celebrate his or her birthday? At the club. But, we went through all of these characters.
Yeah, it sounds like my kind of friend.
What is there, 12 characters? We've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. So there's 13 characters main characters in this book. And they're all tied together. And I can do a kind of botched synopsis of what's going to take place. There are 12 gemstones named, and that's what you're going to find out when you read the book. Each one is named after a gem, like Ruby Jensen. There's also Diamond, but everybody knows her as Di, and they are all connected. And then they find out about their heritage, and we're going to probably leave it at that.
Honestly, that already sounds very interesting.
There's a couple of twists that's going to throw people for a loop. I don't know who's going to get mad about it and who's not, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Wouldn't be a book by you if there wasn't.
I decided I was going to write the first, well, like the prologue for each of the books. A prologue for The Witches of Rosewood Village, a prologue for Fire Within Me Part 2, which is called I Am the Fire, and then a prologue for Mr. Christopher Wants to See You Part 2. And I'm going to let everybody vote on which book I should finish first. And then we'll go on from there. But I don't know. I need inspiration. It was different when I was writing the other two books because I had Missy at home. Well, Missy was here all the time. So Mason and Desi were still living at home. And so was Tony. And I had beta readers right there, people that would read and give me their opinion. And I'm like, all right, pretend you're Bob Wilson from 6 miles over and 4 blocks down. You've never met me before. What do you think of this book? And they'd get really frustrated with me, but I was constantly cramming it down their throats and asking for opinions, and they'd pass it around like a doobie at a Snoop Dogg concert. But that's how I thrive, I mean, I need inspiration, I need motivation, and they moved out. So now it's just me in my studio office here, and
Read them to animals.
read it to the animals. My dogs would bite me, and my cats would scratch me and tell me to leave them alone.
There you go.
Where's Mason? Where's Waldo?
Bathroom.
Oh, he took a potty break.
Yes, he took it. Well, but it's good to see you back writing because it's been a while.
Oh,
Just because you've
been a
never
long
had a
while.
moment to be able to do it with everything going on.
And that's the thing, though. The devil likes to distract you from what you set out. Last week, we were having all kinds of paranormal activity. The TV that glitched and hiccuped and had these crazy lines going through it. I was plugging it in every day, and it was doing this bullshit with these lines going across. And then I'd unplug it for 5 minutes. I'd wait, and I'd plug it back in again. Same thing. Well, I was all set on buying a whole new TV. And, well, of course, the TV's been off since because I really couldn't buy a TV at the time. For some reason, out of the blue, today I plugged it in and the damn thing works perfectly, like a brand spanking new TV. I almost made that thing into an outdoor table or something. I had just given up hope. Now tell them about the other thing that you couldn't remember last week.
So last week was the closet door, and the other thing was a Tupperware that was across. There's a dining room table, your old dining room table, and one side was the Tupperware, and from the one corner, all of a sudden we heard like a crashing sound.
Yeah.
And I walked down, and it went from one end of the table to the other end, like off on the floor on that side, on the opposite end, by like the cat food and water. And it was just sitting there completely put together. And it wasn't like, the weird thing was that like it's the bottom and the lid wasn't on it. I just had it like sitting on it, but it was sitting back on the ground perfectly with each other. But it was like this.
And the cat was nowhere near it?
No, cat. Everything was in the bedroom, and it was just, but it didn't sound like, it's a plastic Tupperware, but it didn't sound like plastic. It sounded, my first thought was a break-in because it sounded like glass.
Oh, wow.
And my first thought was, oh, someone's coming through the windows, which they can't. I have some junk piled up in front of them, like plants and stuff. They're going to hit something.
Yeah.
But it was just, my first thought was, oh, someone's trying to come in. Or like our windows have like these stoppers that let it open like an inch or two, but then
I've got those on my windows too.
So I thought maybe someone like from the outside forced them up and broke the pins off of them.
Okay.
But no, it was just the Tupperware sitting there nice and perfect on the floor.
Now, did you have any kind of paranormal activity in your life before you met Mason?
Mm-mm. No, if I did, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
No, and I had, which I thought was, wish I didn't get rid of it, but I had when I met him, I just recently, or I was 6 months into, I bought a new car. But before the car before that, I bought off of a woman's estate,
Oh,
and it blew its transmission. It's the reason the car went. But the interesting thing is, it wasn't because I've always told Mason, like, I wish I swapped them and had the one I have now first and then that one.
yeah.
Because it wasn't a clean titled vehicle. I bought it in Illinois at a dealership, but it was labeled as a biohazard because the lady that owned it, I guess, passed away naturally in it.
Oh man, I
So it
wish
was
you
a
still
bio-
had that.
I
car.
know, and it was always, it never had a clean title. It used to have a biohazard,
I
warning
can
on
hear
it.
the neighbors now. What are those freaks doing out there by the car? Are they holding
Yeah,
a seance
it
or
was,
what?
And it was such. And I told Mason, I was like, where were you like a year before? Because it was always like, looking back, I never. And of course, the report never says where or how or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm guessing she was like 96 is what
Wow.
it said. So I'm guessing she just slumped over in the driver's seat and that was it. But it was always like, looking back on it, there were times where I'd be driving down the road and it wasn't, I think by the time I got it, it was already 10 years old. So it wasn't a new car, but I got it for dirt cheap because nobody wanted it because it was
Yeah.
a biohazard. But there were times I was driving down the road and it would switch. So I always felt weird. There was like the presets you do in the radio.
Yeah.
Hers were all opera
Oh, wow.
networks, and I was never switched them because I always just plug my phone in. And then the weird thing is it would always switch to like every so often it would flip to one of those opera presets.
That's pretty.
I always assumed that, it was a 10-year-old car. I didn't know anything about paranormal stuff before that, so I just assumed old car. It's got the wiring's is shot on it,
Mhm.
But looking back on it now, I'm like, I wonder if it did. And there was times where it would, before I got rid of it, there was times where it just would not start at all. And it was
Wow.
like I would take it to the dealer, or like not a dealer, but I'd take it to like a mechanic shop.
Yeah.
And they were like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. And then there was the radio switching. Sometimes I would get out, I'd walk out to it, and it was, which sounds so much like the Christine movie, but it would sit, I'd look, and as I'm walking up to it, like it wasn't a touch screen. It was like one of those old radios, like the analog radios.
Yeah.
And it would be lit up, and I'd open the door, and it's just softly, like on opera, just softly playing. Like,
That's weird.
like how you, like, if you turn your car off and you click the radio, it'll stay on for like 30 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it was doing. And I always just thought the other problem was that the sunroof leaked. So when it rained, the water came right inside. So
That's easily fixable.
So I always assumed that was just, the wiring giving out because of the water coming through.
Hmm.
But now looking back on it, I've told Mason, I think I literally just said it yesterday. Because
You got to trace that car
it's in
down.
Texas.
Okay.
'Cause I
we
still
got to
get-
buy it.
Because I think I still legally own it. I still get notices. But
Oh wow, we got to buy that car.
it was it was so weird because I told Mason literally the other day, I was like, I wish I switched them.
Yeah.
Because I would have kept it, and I would have been like, park it in the driveway, see what it does. Because sometimes it would also do like, it was all, I assumed, wiring. Because like sometimes it would also have its headlights on when you're nowhere near it, and it wasn't like an proximity key fob or anything.
Oh wow.
My key was literally just a metal key, so there wasn't a fob to it or anything. But sometimes
That
it would,
is so cool.
yeah, sometimes its lights would be on, and it was just, I always assumed it was just the shoddy wiring.
Oh, Mason. Christy told me she went on to try to buy my book, and it's not available.
I know. That's because working with Amazon is difficult.
Yeah.
It's because we were in the process of getting it on hardcover.
Yeah.
So
Well, this weekend sometime when you're not at work.
I
would
work
you-
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Monday.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Actually, I can look at it when I get home.
Why were you out there?
Talking to Dad.
Oh, did he think we were done?
Yeah, he didn't know if we were still going or not, and then he realized that it's 800 degrees in here, so we moved fans to blow the AC in here.
Good luck, Chuck. That's one disadvantage of having a house that doesn't have central air. We have a window air conditioner and 2 portable air conditioners and several fans trying to cool us down from the 89-degree temperatures we've been having. And, oops, somebody else is on. Old Lady Luck. Hello, friend. New subscriber here. Well, welcome to our show. It's a lot of chaos, and we go off on 20 different topics all at the same time. I hope you can catch up, and I hope we can keep your interest.
Very random subjects.
Yes, very random. We started off talking about body shaming and the standards that women are held to in today's society, and we ended up talking about ghost cars
And pancakes.
And
and
Pancakes.
pancakes. I love me some pancakes. What advice would you give to people that have young children nowadays as far as the body shaming thing goes?
I don't know. I've always thought of the fact that I don't have kids of my own, so
Yeah.
I try not to tell people who have kids what they're doing wrong with their
Well,
children.
What are you going to keep in mind for your children?
I feel like you just really have to not instill into them, but remind them that you're basically you're perfect the way you are. You don't have to change to conform to everybody else's idea of what you should be.
Well, look back to when you were a little kid and you had to wear glasses and you felt like a dork. And
I loved my Harry Potter glasses. The first year I got glasses, because I've had glasses. First time I got glasses, I was 4 years old,
Yeah.
and I was a Harry Potter fan. So I got the round Harry Potter glasses. My kindergarten picture, I have them. It's awesome.
I thought you were adorable. But, people are going to make fun of that child.
Where's Waldo?
Mhm.
Waldo
Okay.
has.
You weren't
certain
around
glasses.
long enough to judge.
But what would you tell them about picking on other kids? Like if, let's say you got a little son, Johnny, and he comes home and talks about this boy, Eric, in his class, and oh my God, he's such a dork, and this, that, and the other thing.
I don't know how I deal with that, because I am also thinking it can go very much, like we said before, one way of society saying that little kids have to be like this. But then I also feel like for some weird reason, if you have to very much explain all that, it's doing the same thing but in the opposite direction. Instead of like, I don't know, my philosophy is just let a kid be a kid. So I don't want to, force them so much one way or the other way. Just like,
Well, Jimmy and Vinny, my 2 boys, they were close in age. They were 2 years apart, and they rode the same bus to school.
school bus.
But there was a boy named Logan in their bus, and everybody picked on Logan. And I mean, he was a really smart kid, but he had some learning disabilities, and all the tough kids would sit there and pick on Logan and make him cry, and he'd come home from school every day crying, every single day. And Jimmy and Vinny would come home and they'd be like, Ma, what am I supposed to do? Because Logan's getting picked on every day. And we lived in a townhouse, which is a side-by-side. You have an upstairs and a downstairs. And so it's 2 tenants, 2 separate dwellings, but connected. And Logan lived next door. And I said, well, the best thing that you could do for Logan is to take him under your wing and make him feel that he has, 2 friends. And that if anybody's ever harassing him, defend him. You're supposed to defend the defenseless.
Mhm.
And that was my theory, and that's what I instilled in my kids. And so the next day, Logan got off the bus and he was all smiles. And Jimmy had his arm around Logan's shoulder, and they were in middle school. It was at Bay Lane Middle School. And Jimmy had his arm around Logan's shoulder, and he's like, don't worry about it, man. We got you. And Logan went in the house. And like an hour later, the mom came over and she rang my doorbell and she's like, Nikki, I just want to thank you and thank your boys for sticking up for Logan today. That's the first time anybody's ever defended him in his life. That kid was like, according to the mom, he was like almost suicidal.
Oh gosh.
Because he felt ugly and he felt like nobody liked him and he wondered why he was here. No matter how many times his mom told him, when you get out of school, you're never going to see these idiots again. But sometimes that's not enough for kids because they look at the big picture and they go, that's a long ass time. I've got to go all the way through middle school. I got to go all the way through high school with these idiots. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I taught my kids. If you see somebody's being bullied, be their protector.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts?
Missy brought up so she said, I tell my kids to be nice regardless, hold dear to the 5-minute rule. Don't point out anything that someone can't fix in less than 5 minutes. Be nice to everyone. Not all kids get to go home to a family that loves them. Some kids don't get hugs and treats and get to do fairs and stuff with their parents.
No, that's a good.
You never know how bad somebody has it.
Yeah, definitely.
And you don't want to be that one straw that broke that camel's back.
But look at how mean kids are.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody is telling their children these things that we're discussing here tonight. People make fun of you if you're too fat, if you're too skinny, if you've got freckles. I mean, they're always going to find something to pick at.
Mm-hmm.
How can we stop that?
I mean,
besides beating the shit out of their parents.
kids that are bullying because they don't feel good about themselves.
They're taking something else out. They
Yeah,
probably have it rough at home.
Yeah, they're taking
or
it's never usually. I think it's never usually the person they're bullying.
Or sometimes they're just bored. They're insecure about themselves.
Yeah.
And just because you had got the rich kid bullying you doesn't mean he doesn't have stuff going on at home either. Because he might have all the nice, new, fancy, shiny things, but his parents don't pay attention to him.
Well, see, my story with my bullies, their parents would take them shopping at the mall. They would hang out with them. They would take them on these, spectacular vacations, and they were rich kids. And then I come in wearing my Goodwill clothes because my mom couldn't afford to buy me clothes. And I didn't go to a salon and get my hair done. I brushed my hair and, I was good to go.
Mm-hmm.
I wore glasses. I was as flat as an ironing board. I gave them so much, and it wasn't anything that I could control, but I was just a billboard for pick on me,
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that I could change. But I think I wish more people could read my book, Fire Within Me, and read about how you can overcome that.
Yeah.
And now, like I said, when I go back on Facebook and I look up these people and I see that they're living these really miserable lives and they're all alone and they've got nobody that loves them. And, they're spending their nights in the clubs trying to drink away the fact that they're just miserable fucks,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but
I mean, yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that can't find what they want at home, so they take it out on other people or do things that may not be very productive to cover that wound that they're trying to fill or patch up.
if I ever found out any of my kids were bullying somebody, I would make them do volunteer work, at a children's hospital or someplace where they had to deal with people way less fortunate than themselves.
You're also going to apologize to everybody you bullied.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would take one step forward. Them and their parents.
I'd make
Apologize
them
to everybody.
stand up in front of the entire class.
Doesn't say you're not gonna just write a letter because
No.
then
No, that's a.
you don't have the public
Yeah, that's a
embarrassment that you
cop-out
just gave that
answer.
kid.
I'll make them stand in front of everybody, and I'll just look through the little glass in the door.
Mhm.
No, I'd want to stand right next to him.
I'll stand
No,
next to you,
I'll stand in the hall
pensioner.
because I want my child to see that I'm watching, and if they do it right, I'll walk away.
Yeah.
But if not, the door will not stop them.
I don't know. It's really, you know, we're supposed to be civilized human beings.
Mhm.
You know, we've evolved supposedly from the caveman.
Not much.
But why do you think I used to tell you, all of you, when you were growing up, all 8 of my kids, I told them, anybody ever hits you, you make sure if they hit you first, that you knock them to the ground, beat the crap out of them until it takes 6 adults to pull you off.
She told us you never start something, but you definitely end it.
And
Don't
I
start something, but
raised
finish
them
it.
with confidence. I didn't have that growing up, you know. I didn't have parents that sat there and said, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with them for thinking there's something wrong with you. Mason's taking a picture of Poppy at the microphone, like she's doing an interview right now. Poppy is a 3-pound Maltese. Very sweet dog. Anything you want to add? I mean,
that's the
did
same
I
way
give
do
you
it.
bad advice by telling you to beat the crap out of these people
No,
if they
because you
ever
told us that we're never allowed to start it.
never allowed.
throw the first punch, and don't antagonize the first punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I was raised. You don't throw the first punch, but if they do to you, then
Your mom
You
sat
do whatever you want.
Your mom sat parked in a car while you pummeled somebody's face into a curb.
yeah. But I learned that because she did it when I was really young. She took that was the
She also brawls with her sisters.
yeah, that was when I was really young. I don't know, 8 or 9. She took I don't even remember what it's about. I just remember I can still see it. I remember took a lady's head to a curb and made us all watch it.
She curb stomped somebody?
Yeah, but I don't remember why.
In front of her children?
We were in the car,
Crazy behavior.
but I don't remember why it was. I know that there was one that in middle school, my twin has always had. I mean, he's undiagnosed. We all assume he's on the spectrum for something. He's always had a struggle for socially, academically, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was my 7th grade English teacher because we're twins, so we were in the same classes together until high school. Mrs. Treptow, still remember her.
Name dropping.
I think she's gone on now, but she was
Yeah, because 60 is so old.
the state. She was close to retirement,
Oh.
but she was. The state of Illinois requires you. I don't know if that works for Wisconsin. You're required to do some sort of academic reading test, kind of like
State testing.
statewide testing for
Yeah.
it was SAT style, but it was more like the reading section where you have to write a paragraph, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We did it, and I don't remember, but I guess his score was so very, very low for a 7th grader.
Mhm.
And Mrs. Treptow put out into a group chat with other teachers of the district. She released his scores, just kind of poking fun at how low it was. But my neighbor was a teacher for the district and saw the text because she was on it, because she's a teacher for him. So she came over and showed my mom that his English teacher posted it to teachers, kind of poking fun at how low he scored.
Oh.
It was a
And
group chat of teachers.
of
making
teachers,
fun of
and
it.
my neighbor was a teacher for the district, so she was in it, and she didn't find it funny, so she told my mom, and my mom took up a volunteer position as a secretary at the main office, and for about a month. And then one day Miss Treptow walked in This was before all the security and stuff at schools now. And she went to the mail room,
Mhm.
and my mom followed her in there and locked the door behind her and punted her in the mail
Mhm.
room.
She used to have acrylic nails,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and she grabbed her by the windpipe and lifted her
Ooh,
up against
that's
the
my
wall.
go-to maneuver.
I mean, the woman was like 70 probably at this point. And she just basically, I wasn't there, but I heard about it. Because I remember they had to call some authorities to come in. But she was, I guess, said words of like, if you ever do that to my child again, this will be worse. And then I guess walked out of there but left her in that room. And I guess someone found her just like heavily breathing in that mailroom, and they called for the authorities. And she never came back in that school ever. I think she walked out and said, I'm not doing this volunteer stuff anymore.
That sounds like a similar situation to when Tony was in, I believe, 3rd grade. And he used to fidget with
Same.
his, pencils and stuff in his pencil bag. And the teacher went to snatch, she claims, went to snatch the pencil case out of his hand. And amazingly and miraculously, all of a sudden there was a human handprint on my son's face when he came out after school.
Mm.
I walked into the building, right past the office. I stuck my head in and I said, you might want to call the police and meet me in his classroom. And so I walked into the classroom and she's like, can I help you? And I said, I'd like to know how Tony ended up with that big handprint welt on his face. And she says, there's no welt on his face. And I turned his head and showed her. And she said, I never hit him. All I tried to do was, and her voice changed. All I tried to do was to take his pencil case away that he was playing with during class. And I said, well, I've taken things away from my children before and never left a mark. And she's like, well, I didn't do that. And so I grabbed her by her windpipe and sat her ass on her desk. And I said, I'm going to warn you one time and one time only. So listen closely to every syllable. I said, if you ever fucking touch my child again in a way that harms him or scares him, I will take you out in front of the flagpole and beat the living shit out of you. And I walked out.
Yeah, it's a fear. I don't think you can
We
do that
got
much
kicked
anymore.
out.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that much anymore. My mom always had that. Middle school, I remember for some reason she would always park. There was like a driveway, like a circled drop-off drive,
Uh-huh.
and all of my classmates knew if she was there because she was, first of all, always there. And then when she would park to deal, because she had 3 kids in there at the same time, so one of us was doing something. But whenever she parked, she would not take a parking spot. She would just pull up in that drive-through lane, just park on an angle and like up on the sidewalk and just leave it.
Mhm.
But everyone knew because she had, at the time, it was like this very gaudy black Cadillac.
Hey now.
It was very gaudy. It was very like giant chrome wheels gangster Cadillac looking.
Hey now.
But it was, but everyone
I'm
knew.
a Cadillac girl.
Everyone
from
knew
get-go.
because she had,
Hers was definitely a drug dealer's car.
because everyone knew because it had. I remember every time I go to recess because it was right there because she had vanity plates on her car, and it got to the point where everyone was like, "Oh, look, your mom's here," and I would just look. I'm like, "Oh God, what is she doing now?" Because she would just go in. I see her car. She'd walk out, get in it, drive away, and then she'd be back in like 2 hours. Usually because I had a little brother who was getting into
I was gonna say
everything.
you guys must have been horrible because my mother never had to. pick me up
No,
from the
I
principal's
always
office.
did. In high school, the problem was I never was a problem. In high school, we had an issue where we would, oh, yeah. I mean, I was kind of a stinker in high school, but never got caught.
You little stinker.
Lesson of the
Yeah.
story, don't get caught because I never did. But apparently there was this issue. They have like this, I call it a snitch line, but apparently you can anonymously report another student for something. Snitch line.
Oh
um,
my God.
And
Mhm.
people were taking advantage of it, snitching just people they don't
He made
like.
enemies, and they ended up searching his car
Yeah, they
nearly
kept-
every day for drugs.
Every day they kept making reports that I had. We were just talking about this with
drugs
them.
in your
drugs
backpack,
in my
drugs in your car.
car. It didn't matter, and they'd have to call the police,
Oh,
and
Lord.
they would. So it was like an everyday occurrence, and we were just talking about this because my parents are 2 separate people. So if they called I always say my dad's bark's bigger than his bite. So
Mhm.
they'll call him and he'll come in and just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, even if it wasn't my fault, I'll do better." And I always tell them, they're like, "We need to call your parents." And I was like, "Great, call my mother," because she would walk in like the world's on fire. And
Yep, that was
there's
me.
nothing left to live for. And she would sit there and be like, "Listen." I mean, she used to scream at my deans, my principal. She was like, "If you want me to beat your face in, then keep having my kids come down here for this
Yeah.
crap."
Yeah.
And then
She'd have to leave work.
she'd have to leave work, and
she's a very highfalutin position holding woman. So
and she would sit there and she used to fight with the police officers because they'd come in, they're like, "Well, we got to search the car," and I would say, "No, it's not my car. It
Yeah.
isn't legally. It was registered to my mother."
Yeah.
And she'd come in and she goes, "No, you're not touching my car. I'm not having you look through it. Do you have a warrant? Go get a damn
Right,
warrant."
well, it's on school property, and you signed the contract.
Yeah. And she was like, and she would just sit there and be like, "Listen, I'm gonna give you one warning. If you even touch the door handle of my car, I don't care if you're a police officer, principal, it doesn't matter. I will throw you back from that car. You're not going in it with." And then she always told me growing up, she said, "I will always defend you guys." The deal was that she's like, "I will always go in like the world's on fire and I have nothing left to live for."
Yeah.
She goes, as long as, she always said, in front of a principal or any authority figure, we are a united front.
Yeah.
The deal was, no matter if I was guilty or not of it, the deal was that afterwards, I better tell her if I actually did it or not.
Yeah.
Because she said, in front of everybody, it's no one's business. So I will protect you, I will defend you, but when we get in the car, you're going to tell me if you did it or not. She said, because if I find out you did do it and you lied to me, then I'm not going to come bail you out every time.
That's basically what I did too.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I always said I would do with my kids, is like, no one needs to know, private family matters. I will always defend you, but the common courtesy is you need to tell me if you did it or not. Because, of course, if I did it, I would receive the punishment, which is usually worse from her.
That's one thing that I could not tolerate is don't lie to my face because I'll never be able to trust you again.
Mia said, "Call my mom" was one of my favorite things to say when teachers would try to say something to me.
I loved it. Because she was already pissed because she had to take a half day off work. So she was already fueled to go. And she just, by the time she'd walk in, she wanted to punch someone's face in.
Yep. I will protect my kids like a mama bear, a grizzly bear. And as long as they don't lie to me.
Yeah.
Because I'll say, "Okay, did you do this?" And if my kid says, "Yeah," I'm not going to cover up for them, but I am going to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was just always the common courtesy, was you're going to tell me in private what happened. And if you did do it, there will be consequences that are probably worse than what the school would give you.
Yep.
But that was the buying of it, is that you have to, if you did do it, you need to tell me, because I'm not going to keep coming in to do this to defend you if you're going to lie to me
That's right.
afterwards. But she grew up in a family that was very much like, they still to this day will fight each other, like physically fight each other.
Wow.
So I think that's just always how she knew how to deal with it, which, I mean, it worked very, very well.
Huh.
I didn't like it when I was a kid because, like I said earlier, through the house. But come high school, when, the principal sits there and is all macho and it's like, "Oh, I'm going to get you for this." And I could just sit there and go, "Call my mother."
But at 26 years old, do you still feel that your mom would be there and protect you in the same way?
No.
Why?
I mean, I think it would take more at this point. One, I guess, I don't know. I guess she's gotten older, so I know she still has it in her, but I guess I don't live at home, so I try not to, burden. I don't know. It's just more of like I'm 20-something years old. Why do I need to call my mother to fix my problem? I mean, I'm sure she would, but it would definitely, I don't know if it would be as, I think there was a little bit of a difference between me being, under the age of 18 or even still living at home.
That
to
night
now.
that you were feeling no pain and you guys called me from the bar, I was ready to go there and kick some ass.
Yeah.
At 62. Mason had to say, "Nope, we're going to be fine. We're leaving now." But I was ready to go because when somebody messes with one of my kids, the only thing that can stop me is the power of God. It would take an act of God to make me stop.
am reading Mia's on. Hi, Mia.
Hi,
And
Mia.
then Mia's talking about, she said, call my mom was one of my favorite things to say when teachers would try to say something to me. Then Missy said, Mia, your teachers loved when you said that. Ha ha ha. 2 minutes later, I'd come blasting through the doors screaming.
Yep.
Or Mia said, or they would hide in the building for parent-teacher meetings. That doesn't surprise me. And then Missy said, I stood there waiting for that teacher for like an hour, only to find out they slipped out the back door.
That's my daughter.
That doesn't surprise me at all. And they always were like that. It was always like nothing. I'm not going to bash teachers and faculty members in schools because, of course, they deal with hundreds of children, and that is by far my worst nightmare. It was always like I'm sure when you were in school, it was always like they always felt so macho and superior to the student.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I think like Mia can attest to that from what I'm reading. But like it was always nice to know that like you had somebody that would come in and destroy all ego they had left.
See, when I was growing up, I didn't have that. I had a mom and a stepdad. One time I was in social studies class, and my teacher at the time, Mr. Serwinski, thought he was a badass, and he took the classroom phone and called my house and spoke to my mom and told him that I was chewing gum in class.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't ask me to spit it out. He just walked over to his academic book and went down the list and went right over to the phone number and called my mom. When I got home, my stepdad was waiting, and he worked third shift, so he was normally in bed when I got home from school. And he was standing there with the belt in his hand, and he used to have one of those long leather belts with the thick ones with the steel grommets every 2 inches across. And he began to beat the living hell out of me and put my head through the drywall.
Oh.
And that was for chewing gum. So I wanted to make sure that when I raised my kids, yeah, they were going to get hit, but they were going to get hit in a way that was discipline and not abuse.
Yeah, I was just saying for chewing gum, that's a little excessive. At least in
And
my opinion.
yeah, well, when you don't return to school the next day, and then the second day you come back and you've got welts on you, and the school doesn't even report the abuse,
Yeah.
that's bullshit too. But that was back in, let's see, I was probably 14, so 63 and 14, do the math, 77.
Mm-hmm.
1977. So it was a different world back then. But
Yeah, no, it's definitely different.
I never wanted that for my kids.
I think,
And I'm sorry, but if I married somebody and I already had kids, there ain't no way you're putting your hands on my children.
Yeah, that's how I was. My school in elementary school, my parents would get called because my brother would sit in the garbage can because he thought it was funny. And we were like, he was like 5 or 6.
But also, I guess your dad used to do that too.
Yeah, he'd call. The teacher would call my dad and say, "He's in the garbage can." Blah 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 blah. And my dad would go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll talk to him." And then I think one time she called my mom at work and said, "Your kid's in the garbage can." And she said, "It doesn't do that at home." And she was like, "Well,
you're the teacher. Why aren't you taking
She was
care
like,
of
"Well,
this?"
you're the effing teacher. You figure it out."
I did that too one time.
And then I guess she never called again.
I had a teacher that would complain about every single thing that Tony did. Everything. She would call me and tell me, "Oh, he doesn't have this assignment. He didn't do this. He's talking. He's doing this." I said, "Bitch, do I call you at 8 o'clock at night and tell you that he's doing this and you should have corrected that in school?"
Yeah.
I thought we had a partnership here, from 9 a.m. until 3, 4 o'clock, whenever the kid gets out of school. He's your problem.
Yep.
When he comes home, I'll handle him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, if you want to revise our contract, you're more than happy to give me your personal number.
Yeah, exactly.
And I will call you at 11 o'clock at night when we can't figure out a problem.
Tony won't go to bed.
Tony won't go to bed. He didn't shower before his bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do something. We need to get on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose we should. Oh, what did Mia say?
Me and Missy are. I will start. So we're going. Hi, the billing teacher. Then Missy said, I still had a newborn baby on my hip, and I told the principal I was going to bash his face into a wall while the cops were standing right there smiling. And then she said, also told the superintendent I was going to come to his office and beat his ass and told him he better handle his staff before I did, and he wouldn't be happy how I handled it. Then she got the truck group to drive Mia to the dance and half for her homecoming group to drop her off at school. Everyone's jaws dropped. And then Mia said, I will forever love that truck group.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many things that we could sit here and talk about as far as all of those topics that we just covered. But I think we just hit the tip of the iceberg. I
Mhm.
mean,
For sure. Definitely.
there's, I don't know. I really don't. Being a parent is not easy these days. Nobody said it was going to be easy. Kids don't come with an owner's manual where you can look up troubleshooting tips. They should have, note to God, next time send out an owner's manual. But it's all worth the hard work and dedication and the blood, the sweat, and the tears that go with it. Like I said, I've overcompensated with my children so much because of the way I was raised and the things that I had gone through and the things that I got away with because, unlike my children, I don't get caught. So, I don't know, maybe I should have given them tips on if you're going to do something wrong, do it right.
You also didn't have people, I'd say, you didn't have people that cared enough to catch you.
No, I ran away so many times I can't even count them on all my fingers and toes. And I mean, I was out there in the street fighting and working jobs before I was legally able to and supporting myself,
Mhm.
because I didn't want to go home to the abuse. And, try to make your siblings understand that, but they don't.
Mhm.
But I'm done with that chapter too.
Mm-hmm.
But I am pretty much done for the night. I am going to head in and go to bed, and I'll talk to you all next week. I hope you tune in and be nice to each other and watch your kids. Pay attention to who's around your children and don't let them talk to strangers on the computer or on the phones or I don't know. Do better, people. That's all I can say. Do better. Good night.